Welcome to Rockin' the Ages, set in the heart of the beautiful Okanagan in British Columbia with your host, Cheryl Soleway. Life is like a game of hockey. There are fast breaks, sudden shifts, hard hits, and moments of pure exhilaration. To play well, we need more than strength. We need resilience, confidence, and a plan that's always changing for every period of the game. Rocking life at any age takes more than just push-ups, cardio, or muscle strength. It's about sharpening the mind, fueling the body, and learning how to adapt and thrive through every period. There are 7 essential keys that unlock a life of energy, joy, and purpose. Through inspiring stories, practical wisdom, and a touch of grit, Rocking the Ages is here to remind you that the later chapters of life aren't a time to slow down. They're a time to play bigger, stronger, and smarter. So lace up, lean in, and get ready to discover how to truly rock the ages. Welcome to another episode of Rockin' the Ages, the podcast where we uncover what it means to age with strategy, vitality, and joy at any age, but particularly in this exciting third period of our lives. Today, we're joined by a remarkable woman. She's a good friend and a woman who truly embodies that mission, Donna O'Connor. At 76, Donna is living a full and super active life, and she's no stranger to success. She rose through the ranks to become a high-level executive with a well-known cosmetics company, a company built on empowerment, beauty, and the belief in what's possible. In this conversation, Donna shares how she maintains her physical health, nurtures social connections, and she really redefines what it means to live beautifully in your 70s, both inside and out. Now, whether you're 60 or 90 or beyond, Donna's wisdom will remind you that the best is always yet to come. Hey, Donna.
Hello there.
Thank you so much for coming today. I might have mentioned it in the intro, but can I get you to share your age and a little bit about yourself?
I'm 76, soon to be 77. Can't believe it.
Can't believe it. Good for you.
Yeah.
I know you've had some kids, and I see posts about your grandkids fairly often.
Yeah, they're great. I've got 3 sons.
Mm-hmm.
If a mother can weather 3 sons, she can do anything. And you've got 3 sons as
Yes,
well.
there we go.
Yeah.
High five.
And 7 grandchildren.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the ages of your grandchildren?
They go from 26 to 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, 26
Yeah,
to
I've got
11.
a 26-year-old.
You know, Nana, I'm going to start with saying I've always noticed that you've never been afraid to wear color. And how many times when you come in, Donna comes to my fitness classes very regularly. How many times do you find me commenting on what you're wearing?
Well, I know I'm there for fitness, but being a fashion plate, I can't help myself when it comes to color. I love color.
So you do come from an extensive background with a very high-profile cosmetic company. Does some of that background, does that impact the way you love color? Because Donna, honestly, your vibrancy and your color, it's just always there. How did you get that?
Well, the color cosmetics certainly plays a role on my face. But my mom was an artist.
Oh,
And so she was always fooling around with pastels and colors and oils and things. So I love color. So partly through my career and partly just through, being raised in a family that were artists. So
yeah.
maybe a
And
bit of that.
do you have knowledge about, as we age, does our color wheel, I know nothing about it, does our color wheel change?
I don't think so. I think sometimes older people start to look drab and gray when their hair gets gray and they forget to wear any kind of color cosmetics on their faces and they wear beige and gray. And it's just like, oh, to me that if you want to perk me up, put on something that's fresh, just like the nature outside. Just
I hope this makes you laugh a little bit, but as you've transitioned into the most gorgeous gray hair, I want you to share a little bit about that transition because I've witnessed it. I watched it. So
Yeah.
tell me what was going through your mind, any anxieties or uncertainties. Share with others that journey.
I think women get stuck on their hair. And sometimes they get stuck in a hairstyle where they felt real pretty at age 16. That's not age appropriate anymore either. But I got a wake up call from a very friendly um, hairdresser down in Palm Springs, and I was going in to get the dye to, remove the skunk marks. The white was coming in, but I wasn't ready. I was so not ready, but he looked at me and he said, "Dear, it's time.
Oh, love
It
it.
is so time."
Yeah.
I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah."
I do say in my first episode that one of the key moments for me, I was watching a woman be a keynote presenter at a very large conference in Anaheim. And she struck me as being in her 30s. And I suddenly heard her say that she was 60 years old and had raised 8 kids. And I seriously wrote down, when I grow older, I'm going to have red hair. And I also wrote down that's all about posture. But seriously, I do think hair, it can have a little bit of an impact. And I will say that it seems like redheaded women, have you noticed like
Mm.
somehow they seem to defy aging? But I mean, we're trying to make sure that these keys to aging, sure, we can do a little bit of appearances, but we are trying to give tips on the big picture, the 7 keys. So, Donna, one of the things that we're going to talk about, because I just admire so much in you, is my 6th key. I talk about the importance, especially as we age, because sometimes we have to refigure it out, is family, friends, and community. And you, my friends, are the master. Can I ask you, has it always been easy for you to be so social?
No, I was shy as a goose before I started my career, but it was a personal development course that I got sort of paid to take. I mean, they focused on personal development, and through small little successes that were praised highly, I was able to just boost myself, esteem myself, image my self confidence. But it was little bit by little bit by little bit. But
Really?
my mentor, it was all praise you to success.
Really?
Yeah.
So, can I ask, what age were you when you first started transitioning into a better social person?
Well, let's see. I went through a nursing, became an RN, then had babies, but I was still shy and sort of uncomfortable in my own skin. I mean, it was okay in the house and I had the kids, but when I stepped out, I would have been about 31, 32.
Hmm.
Kids were little, and I
Hmm.
wanted more than just being a housewife and a mom. I loved that. That was my priority, but I needed that little extra.
Cool.
And through that, that's where the confidence came was
Holy smokes, cool. So, was that around 30, 31 that you started with this high level cosmetic community?
hmm
Hmm.
Yep.
I have to say, Donna, because she'll tell you that I struggle, and I'm fairly gregarious and out there, but I still struggle socially because Donna hosts some of the most popular tea parties and hosts some girl gets-togethers that everybody looks forward to. You've forgiven me, sort of. I struggle with it, and I think the other things we're trying to do is give people tools as we age to, if it's not natural, how do we help give them tools? Would you have suggestions as to, for those of us that it's difficult to find those social relationships?
Um, well, my philosophy is all these strangers out there are just friends that you haven't got to know yet.
Uh-huh.
And to gently coach and nurture women to improve sort of how they feel about themselves and through the social element. That's why the tea parties are fun.
Yeah,
I've
true.
had ladies I invite and say, "Well, I'd love to come, but I don't have a dress." And it's like, "Okay, honey, well, you're going to go get one."
Right on.
And we're going to celebrate our femininity, and we're all a lot of these girlfriends are coming in from the fitness center
Hmm.
that I've met, jumping around with a wet bathing suit and wet hair,
Right.
and bring them in so that they have a social network within a different group.
Yeah.
And women are such nurturers just by hormones and just their history,
I
that's what
agree.
they
I
do.
I I do think that women maybe are a little more disposed to go into a fitness class. Have you noticed? Do you think it's more difficult for men as they age to find those social networks?
Absolutely. I do, I
I do
do.
too.
When we go into the fitness center, they're doing their fitness alone. Us girls are in, for instance, if I go into the aquafit class, the first half of the class, we're visiting and we're jumping around and we're listening, but we're talking. By the middle of the class, we're tired and we're we're paying more attention, and we've got our visit out. But it's social. It's so social.
Yeah.
Just jumping around in the aquafit class or in the classes that you've taught. Bless your heart. I mean,
Thank you.
they've been so fun.
Thank you.
But it's you wouldn't want to miss a class because not just the fitness, but it's the social element of coming in 10 minutes early and then going for coffee after, and wouldn't have that if you didn't get out of the house and go do it. So it's a double thing. It's a social thing and it's a fitness thing.
Right.
So
Luckily where we live, we are seeing some men start to venture out and in aquafit or in fitness. And I talk a little bit in my first episode, we've discovered pickleball. And it's been crazy how
that would be
much
good.
that
Yeah.
sport has created a social environment. And I think men like to compete potentially more than women. So, all of those things, trying to really encourage both men and women that if it's not natural, try reaching out, try going to a community center, try
Mhm.
going to a rec center, and just anything, taking those steps to nurture that social need that they don't feel alone or isolated.
Yeah, pickleball would be a really good one because there's a lot more. Golf is good, but
Golf is good.
you can ride in your own cart, and the girls don't do that. We don't want to ride in our own cart. You want to ride with somebody.
Isn't that
So
true?
the men, I think their wives and the friends can kind of nurture and push that. But I find that concerns me is that they
Okay.
tend to slow down and isolate more.
100%. I want to go back a little bit because I also know, Donna, that your life has not been easy.
Mm.
You had some tragedy that you overcame. I want you to share a little bit about that. What were the more difficult periods in your life?
I was in a very abusive marriage, and
Mm.
getting out of it was a tragedy. I lived on a ship that we restored, and
A ship.
a ship.
A ship.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
how big of a ship?
It was a World War II ship used in World War II, and we
What?
restored it. And it was 110 feet long, but a 30-foot beam. It was big.
Oh my
So
goodness.
we took it down
Was
to
it a
Panama.
sailboat or it had an engine?
No, great big what was it, 17-ton? Let's think. Big engines. I
Okay.
can't remember. Big
Wow.
Cummings engines.
Wow. So
No
how
sail.
old are you when this is happening?
60.
You're 60 and
Yeah.
this is happening. Love this story.
Yeah, we restored
Holy
it. I
smokes.
lived on it, worked in the wheelhouse, and then eventually took it. It was supposed to go into charter work in Panama, and so we took it all the way down to Panama and
From where?
from Vancouver.
From Vancouver, you sailed to Panama.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
Well, we stopped a little bit because I was still working and paying the bills, so we stopped in San Diego and San Francisco, and eventually, let's see, I think it 2 or 3 months, taking our time.
Wow.
But we really didn't have qualified crew when we were
Were
cobbled
you
together.
were you scared?
Too dumb to doubt. I mean, there were times, yeah,
Hey?
yeah. There were times when we were boarded by armed Mexican Navy at one point with all their machine guns all around.
Were they just checking you out? Was it more of a safe?
I think they were.
No.
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
It was a little shady. It was a little scary, but and they stayed aboard, and they were at every porthole window all the way around the
Look at your
decks.
guts at 60 years old. So, but it sounds like this didn't have a happy ending.
It
What
didn't have a
happened?
happy ending. I had to leave that relationship because it was not a not healthy place. I should have.
Yeah, I got to say good for you, though.
I should have got out sooner, but
Got-
you think I can handle it. I can handle it, and it became an issue where now this isn't going to get any better. So, and it will affect your health eventually. You're strong, but
Right.
it's not going to be
Yeah.
for everything here.
Yeah.
So I left, but the sad part is the ship sank after that. So
So
Yeah.
now financial tragedy.
yeah, because all my money's in the ship.
And how old are you at this point?
I was 60 when I left.
Really?
Yeah.
So
it
you're
would have been-
starting over
Yeah.
at 60.
Yeah.
We talk about mental makeup, mental fitness, mental toughness. I always love doing analogies to hockey. I'm Canadian, so
yeah.
I like hockey and I've been involved in it for many, many years. And, I love that you can have a great first period in hockey. So by the time you're 30 years old, you've got medals and trophies and awards. But, the second period, 30 to 60, it's great because you're busy and your career's taking off and you're having kids. But to start over in your third period,
Yeah, when your house sinks, there's no
and
more
your house sinks,
Yeah.
tell me about that mental strategy. Where did you find the strength?
Well, I had an intervention
An
Good,
intervention. Tell me
yeah,
what
good
that
friends
looks like.
came and took me out for a ride and got me to talk and fess up that I was in trouble, that I really needed to get out of this abusive relationship. And from the support that I got with all my colleagues, it was really the colleagues and the president of our company, actually, too, that supported me. I thought, well, maybe I need counseling. People that have such a mess happen in their life, they
Good for
usually need
you.
to go to a counselor.
Yeah.
So I did. I went to a counselor, but the counselor says, I don't think I can help you any more than the people that have surrounded you.
Wow.
And it was
Wow.
that interaction of good camaraderie within my business.
I love how much you're confirming. I mean, key number one, your mental makeup, your mental fitness, your mental attitude. It's never too late
Hmm.
to seek help if you need help in that department. If you've got baggage to unpack, it's just really probably the number one key, I think, to start. So we're going to go into key number two, though, because I think you're also probably a mini expert at the very least in gut health. Donna, you obviously eat well, and I
Hmm.
think you watch what you eat. Can you tell me, did you have any periods in your life when it wasn't as easy, or is it even easy now? What can you sort of tell me about your story as far as gut health and how you ate?
I've always eaten healthy. I mean, junk food, yeah, the odd bag of chips, but there was never any kind of. I would feel guilty
Uh-huh.
if I yeah, I feel guilt. It's like I know that's not good for me,
Right?
and so I would rein that in. As far as cooking healthy meals, my husband now is a diabetic,
Mm.
and I'm very conscious of what it does when you put the wrong stuff into your
And
body.
what is the wrong stuff in your opinion?
Sugar,
Sure.
sugar, alcohol.
Yes. Ooh,
Yeah,
alcohol.
that's another whole topic.
That is a topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how you cut that out. Is it pretty easy once you're used to it? What are your steps to cut out sugar?
You just make the decision once, and that's in the grocery store. Don't bring it home. If you don't bring it home, then the temptation's gone.
Right?
So you got to be real strong in the grocery store.
Okay.
And so if it's not around, like I've got my husband will scour around looking in corners like an alcoholic looks for booze in the cupboard um, for sugar. And if it's not there, that
Interesting.
decision is taken away. So
Interesting.
making just
Can I ask, do you personally take any supplements at 76?
I do. I take the vitamin D for sure and the
Okay.
omegas.
Vitamin
And
D, omegas.
yeah, a multivitamin.
Okay.
There's so much magnesium and all these things, but I kind of lay off a little bit of that.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just the essentials. I,
Okay.
I was talking to my doctor because this age you get a little bit of high blood pressure, so you get all that going on, and I said, "Well, should I be taking this?" And they say, "Well, it's not going to hurt you."
Okay.
But sometimes there are interactions. So, when in doubt with some of the supplements we take and how well tested they are, I always go to my pharmacist because they know more than my doctor, I think sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
That's their skill set. So,
Uh-huh.
really and calcium,
And
you know.
calcium.
Yeah,
Have you ever
calcium
had your bone
especially.
density tested?
Oh, yeah.
How is
It's
your bone density?
well, they after a ski mishap, I had it wasn't a train wreck fall when I was skiing, but I thought I'd cracked a rib, but I'd had a compression fracture in my spine. So then it was like, okay, let's pay more attention here. So the bone density shows, yeah, there's osteoporosis there. So
Right. And so have you been, was it been anything prescribed for your bone density? I know there's a supplement, bone basics type supplement, or have you found that you could manage it through your diet?
well, calcium and
Calcium.
vitamin D.
Okay.
But then when they looked at really deeper dive, the osteo guys said, well, we're going to put you on a zoledronic acid.
Sorry?
They put me on an infusion for bone
Oh,
density, and
okay.
that's kind of a new thing, and it doesn't build it back, but it stops it from getting worse.
Do you have to repeat that?
Yeah, it's a once a year,
Really?
but then they keep checking the bone density. But the biggest thing is keep moving, keep your diet good, do your calcium and your vitamin D. Those are really important.
Right.
And this zoledronic acid is what they put into me. I resisted it. I don't like putting anything in my body that I don't have to.
Interesting.
But
Yeah,
I
unless you
thought,
have
well,
to.
I'm not the expert. I haven't studied this. This isn't I'm not a doctor.
Hmm.
I'll ask my son. He's a
You're
doctor.
pretty wise. You've got good self-awareness, obviously, right? You
Yeah.
seem to be, yeah, to know what you need and not overdoing what you don't need. So man, oh man, you're on target. I also talk about posture being my third key, and boy, you nail that one. You carry yourself beautifully, and that's just something that we try to teach it for people that aren't blessed with that. But that idea that, we at
Well,
rest, we try to sit with nice posture. We even sleep, folks. That's 6 or 7 hours if you're in bed. That pillow between your knees or that body pillow that you can hug can really help to keep those bones and joints in place. So you get the A plus plus in the
well,
posture
let
column.
me let me say you helped me with that because when I
Did I?
first started your classes,
Yeah.
I was starting to get that old woman round shoulders, and it was
Oh,
you got that fixed.
did I?
It wasn't easy some days, all those planks and things, but yeah,
Right.
it helped. It really helped.
Awesome.
And yeah, I was active, but I wasn't doing as much as you got me doing in classes.
I actually I don't want to self promote too much here, but I do want to hear more because I have watched you, Donna, and a multitude of our friends that come to class. And we try really hard in our classes to not just do same old, same old.
Hmm.
We do try very hard to address our joints, especially our feet. We do our feet, our ankles, our knees, our hips, our spine. We use a soft chi ball to sort of mobilize through our thoracic spine. Can you tell me the things that you have found have impacted you the most? What have been your favorite sources of exercise?
Of exercise? Well, I'm finding the aquafit as I get a little older, I hate to admit it, it's a little easier on the joints because I do
Sure.
have osteoarthritis everywhere,
Yeah.
but, motion is lotion, so I gotta keep going, and,
Motion is lotion. Good
yeah,
quote. Good
yeah,
quote.
it's really I think the variety,
Do you?
yeah, yeah. I'm golfing a lot right now, and,
Yeah.
now the shoulder hurts, and it's like, "Ah."
Yeah.
But, I'm not gonna give it up. It's
Right.
just keep working through it. I've had to, you get a little bit you get help when you need it, whether it's a massage or a physio, but keep going.
Do you find yourself exercising at home?
I used to 5 days a week with a video, the old
Okay.
days. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That was before fitness classes were really vogue or out there for
Okay.
me. And I was working so hard, I'd get up and, just hit play and do
Right
my
on.
hour workout by myself and
Right.
then go to work. The classes are more fun.
Yeah. You
And
like
as you
that
get older,
social
it's
side,
the
the
social side.
inspiration.
Yeah, I wouldn't wanna do it by myself
Good
now.
for you.
I'd get old if I did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get old and lazy and sloppy. I couldn't push myself the way you push us.
Okay.
No.
That's really great to hear. I still, I'm trying to suggest that people, they don't have to go to the gym if the gym isn't their thing, but mostly because I want people to be doing things more often through the day. So, literally from that moment you get out of bed, that work your feet, get your feet happy. We just talked at book club, our last book club, about a pair of shoes that I was wearing. I won't name names, but if you message me, I'll share.
I
But
get some.
I think too, putting great footwear on your feet, even when you're walking around at home, can matter. We really
Mhm.
do want to make sure that we're taking care of our feet because then our ankles, our knees, our hips, our backs are happier. So I do like the idea of stretching a little more often at home, 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. And my guess is you actually do. I'm guessing you even hold yourself tall and are doing little abdominal things, whether we kind of, are super paying attention um, to it or not. So I want to ask, we were going back a little bit in your life as to, any periods that were difficult. Did you ever struggle with your weight? Did you breeze relatively easily through menopause?
I think I did. I didn't struggle. I don't think I struggled the way I see a lot of pals, and, they struggle a little bit more with the hormone m blasting this way and that way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Can I ask, did you do any hormone replacement? Did you have any help from, a
no.
doctor along that line, or did
Well,
you plow
yeah.
through it?
I talked to the doctors, but at
Did
that
you?
point, it was, "Alright, make your choices between is there's a higher risk of, breast cancer if you get on the hormone replacement versus the heart attack, and what do you wanna die of, a heart attack or breast cancer?" But there's too much breast cancer in the family, so they opted, You can cold turkey this girl," and which I've done,
Yeah.
but I still, at this delicate age, have hot flashes.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, they're
I have
horrible.
an interview coming up with, again, another wonderful woman who lives here in our community. And I can't wait to actually discuss her. She's a specialist as far as hormone replacement and
Mm.
supplements because I just toughed it out, Donna. And I don't think it was too bad. I think maybe because we always have been so active, I would like to credit a
Yeah.
healthy, fit lifestyle.
I think it helps.
I think it must
Yeah.
help. But nonetheless, I'm really curious to find out what has changed
Mhm.
and if that hormone replacement, just what's new and what's available, because I sure hate to paint with a broad brush that,
Mhm.
oh, you shouldn't be doing this or not. Donna, can I ask, do you listen to podcasts?
No.
Do you follow anybody? Is there an author you follow or somebody that you find inspires you or you would recommend to others to maybe look into?
That's an area where I probably need some improvement.
Excellent.
Um, Being in the book club, I'm in 2 book
We're in
clubs.
book club together.
Yeah, 2 book clubs, one with you, and I would have to say that, the reading that I'm doing in the book club, I don't have time for podcasts. I'm 2 book clubs. I'm golfing, I'm doing all these things, um, and I find that the variety of the girlfriends and the selections of books that they offer out, I wouldn't have
True.
picked, and now I'm learning all kinds of cool things
Isn't that
from these
true?
books. They pick really nice
Yeah.
books.
I got to say, our hearts are just, we love our book club.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love our book club. It is a group of just, wonderful, high energetic, intelligent, well read women. And, we find that, yeah, we talk about the book some, but we end up just learning more about each other because
Mhm.
every time we go, it's how did the book make us feel? What did we learn from it? So again, believe it or not, I'm more of an introvert than not. But when we get to book club,
You're not ner
it's that
y
social atmosphere that lets us talk about each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just love it. So again, putting it out there, folks, that, if you're in this third period of life and you do need to look for ways to make sure that your life has that family, friends, and community, something as simple as a book club or a painting class. We've got a dear friend that
Mhm.
organizes oil painting classes here that, it comes in so many shapes and forms.
Yeah. That book club idea, I've sent that thought to a couple of friends that are lonely and moved to a new place, and it's like, "Start a book club."
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, yes, it's easy. Just get some girlfriends and buy some books.
I want to ask you a little bit because I've been asking you a little bit about this, Donna. Talk to me about hearing aids. I will confess, I just went about a month ago because it just seems like in the last year, I swear everybody's mumbling, or it's like, who keeps turning the TV down? And when I went and I had my last test, they told me that I was below average, basically, and I'm going to say 9 out of 10 categories, but it's also their job to sell hearing aids. So I wasn't too quick to sort of buy in. I want more intel, Donna. First of all, tell me what were your clues as to maybe it's time?
My mother, she had hearing aids, and she was always saying to me, "Speak up, speak up." And I said, "Got your hearing aids in." She put her hearing aids in. So when it came my turn, the delicate age, she was watching and
And
she
what was
said,
your delicate age where you thought maybe
60.
60? Okay, I'm
Sorry.
64 next year when this comes out. So yeah,
Yeah, it was 60.
60.
And I said, "No, no, no, no." She said, "Well, just go get tested so you got a borderline." And
Yeah,
I did. I went and got tested. I went and got tested at 2 different places, and
good.
one was trying to sell me hearing aids. They're really expensive.
Yes,
And they said, "Here, you can try them for a while." I said, "Okay." Then I thought, I don't even buy a pair of shoes without comparison shopping.
good.
So I went shopping, and I went to the next place. Maybe I can't say. Anyway, they said, "You're borderline, and you could wait."
Okay,
So I did. I waited a year or 2,
okay.
and then my husband said, "You're driving me crazy." I'm always getting him to repeat.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would hear the last part of a phrase
okay,
or a sentence,
okay.
or I couldn't unravel what they said. So yeah, I don't go without them.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and are you in both years now?
Yeah.
And so from the minute you get up in the morning, is that
Yeah.
that,
Right
that
away.
happens
Yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah.
so where would you recommend if I need more information, is it, do some of these clinics, are they good enough? Do you see an audiologist? Like, where do we go?
Well, these clinics, they have
Uh-huh.
audiologists. I went finally and landed at Costco.
Oh, you
The
did, eh?
price was
Yeah.
really reasonable
Is it?
compared to everywhere
Can you
else.
ballpark? Like, what would we expect to spend? Like, do most people need one at a time, or do most people need two?
Depends on your ears, but
I
think
guess.
generally it's two, but
Do you?
I'm both same in both ears. But people fall water skiing and hammer an eardrum so that they get scar tissue. So maybe one ear is different than the other. But the audiologists sort that out, and they have all the fancy equipment. And
Yeah.
the guarantee is good, and the service is great. And
So can you give us a hint of what that's going to set us back?
it's getting lower and lower in
Is it?
price.
Is
Yeah.
it?
When I first started out, it was closer to $5,000, and
Yeah.
now it's was it 2,000, between 2 and 3,000. Thing with hearing aids, if you don't get into it, studies are showing that you're not in the social realm that you should and could be, and earlier sense of dementia and things, they're saying, well, that's going to affect early onset dementia, or Alzheimer's.
Donna, thank you for bringing that up. That's exactly one of the things that when I did get mine tested to say the fallout from losing your hearing is more from the loss of you just not being able to hear something.
Yeah, socially you're just
socially
isolated. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Okay. I'm going to go get some hearing aids, Donna.
Atta girl.
Now I just got to talk to somebody about, eyes as well. And
Well, you'll get cataracts. That's next.
well, Donna, we've covered a lot of great topics. What does a healthy lifestyle now mean to you at 76?
Well, we've talked about the fitness, absolutely. We've talked about diet, got that covered. The only other thing is, as I think, especially as you retire and you get older, you've got more time on your hands, you get more disposable income. And socially, it's easier to get into the habit of just drinking more. It was easy to have a drink while making dinner. It was easy to have a drink
Yeah.
at dinner. And if the bottle's not empty, it was easy to finish the bottle. And I come from
Donna.
a family, my father was an alcoholic, and I see alcohol just destroy so much good in this world, whether it's car accidents or
Yeah.
just divorces or abuse and rapes and mayhem. I mean, it's not a good thing. I mean, it's a neurotoxin. It's ethanol. It's alcohol, and
Right.
it's dolled up with fancy labels and pretty tastes and things. But it really isn't a great thing.
Can I ask, Donna, did you go through a period in your life where you thought you were, drinking a little too much?
No, I didn't, but I
didn't.
was raised in a family where it was a real problem.
Really?
And but I can take or leave it. And
Right.
so for me, I would drink socially,
Yeah.
but being exposed to having more time for social, that was meaning that it was just sort of the way everybody was doing things. So rather than offering tea and coffee after dinner,
Yeah.
they were having just finishing another bottle of wine. And I started to be more aware that this isn't a good thing. I don't need the buzz. I'm a happy person, and I've
Mhm.
got so many fun people around me. And when we think we're really fun and making great conversation, but when you've had too much, it's
Yeah.
not pretty.
And too much is not as much as people even think. So I will confess, you're bringing up a topic that I've only recently really improved at and embraced.
Mhm.
And again, Donna, it was at our book club. We started at book club talking about a book or an audio book called The Naked Mind,
Yeah.
right? That one of our friends, Joanne, brought up and said, I think a lot of us have become drinking wine out of habit.
Mhm.
And, I truly was one of those that looked forward to it. And I live healthy otherwise. Everything else is great. I work out very consistently, eat a healthy diet. But very often, that bottle of wine that got opened while we were cooking dinner led to a second bottle now while we're eating dinner, which then impacted sleep, which
Oh.
then you had a headache in the morning.
Sleep for sure.
And I think, Donna, too, you're just bringing up such an important topic that we all need to look in the mirror and ask, is this affecting our lives? And not just the wine, or is there other types of alcohol that have simply become a crutch? Something to, water down maybe the loneliness, something to water down the boredom, Do I point a finger at man? I don't want to necessarily, but as careers have, you've retired from that career, how do you fill that space?
Mhm.
And is that alcohol a crutch for just medicating? Well, I'm drinking, actually, it's a calming drink, they're calling it. So it's basically the main ingredient is magnesium biglycinate. So that magnesium biglycinate plays a big role as far as helping other things like your calcium even go over the blood-brain barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about how magnesium biglycinate will help potassium and your sleeping, your ability to calm down at night.
Yeah.
So, wow, getting rid of the wine, introducing this calming drink, talk about a win-win.
Yes.
And,
Well, these mocktails. I mean, socially when you go in and everybody else is still drinking, and socially it's to navigate that change of your mindset.
Yeah.
But to have a wine glass, or people say, "What are
Yes,
you drinking?" Well, I've got soda water or I've got tonic with no gin, but in a glass that
in a
looks
nice
like it,
glass.
and so they're comfortable. I'm comfortable
Yeah,
with it, but other people, as I've shifted,
yeah.
they're uncomfortable that I'm not joining the.
Well, Donna, let's hope that wisdom doesn't have to come at 76. I know it came a lot sooner than that, but let's listen to these words because this woman is rocking the ages, and she certainly had some wonderful insights to share with us. So, Donna, thank you.
My pleasure.
Mm. Okay, it's time. It's time for this episode's Emotion is a Lotion. So starting in standing, reaching up high above your head, folding forward, and then slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Again, reaching up high over your head, folding forward, dropping down, and then slowly each vertebrae unwinding as you stand it up. Reaching up high above your head, folding forward down towards the ground, this time walking your hands out, keeping your heels pressing down into your downward facing dog. Lift up high on your heels, stretching through your feet, and then press your heels back down again. Lift up high on the heels, stretching through the feet, dropping forward towards your knees, and pressing back into child pose. Breath goes into your belly, expanding through your back. Reaching back up, laying it down on your tummy. Take your hands out, feet out, and begin to slowly press up into an extension. Again, unwinding your spine and opening up through the hips, dropping it back down. Inhale, press up, opening through the hips, softening through the spine, pressing through the shoulders, and dropping back down. One more time. This time as you press up, folding back down into a wide child pose. Now the breath goes into the sides of your belly as you're folding down into your tailbone. Stepping your hands back, curl your feet under, opening up through the hips, pressing down into your tribal squat. This is an amazing pose. Enjoy, open up through the hips, pressing your body up. You did it. Great move, everybody.